NFL Week 8 power rankings here on the NFL with AJL. We got a shakeup as the top four has now basically realigned. We got Baltimore jumping up some, we got Buffalo jumping down a good bit. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I've got Philadelphia at the number one spot. They are the best team in the NFL to me right now. They do beat Miami at home. And, some people could say, hey, Adam, Miami doesn't have a great defense. Are they really that good of a football team outside of the offense? It was still a highly touted matchup in prime time, Sunday Night Football. The Eagles win big in the Kelly Greens, and just the way that they've played in that game. And now they make the trade for Kevin Byard just to keep bolstering that roster. I got the Eagles as the best team in the league right now. Kansas City's going to jump up 2 spots to the second overall spot as they win to the Chargers at home. And the big reason they jump up is because, of course, San Francisco loses to the Vikings on the road. Yes, they lose close, but we know the Vikings aren't a great team right now. So I'm going to have to drop San Francisco to number 3 here. So they drop from the 1 to the 3. Miami drops from the 3 to the 4 as they lose to Philadelphia on the road, of course. Um, so of course that's going to make them drop in the power rankings. Now, Philadelphia is a good team, and maybe some of y'all think I'm being harsh for Miami dropping from the 3 to the 4, but top 4 is going to be Philadelphia, Kansas City, San Francisco, and Miami. Now, Baltimore is going to come in at the 5 spot. They blow out the Detroit Lions here. The Lions were recently ranked ahead of them at the 5. Now, Baltimore will be at the 5 spot. Jacksonville wins over my Saints on the road. It feels like they've turned the corner. I think so. There it was the Ravens, the Jags, and the Vikings. All feels like they've turned a corner this week. So I'm going to have the Jags in at the 6 spot as they blow out my Saints. Going to have Detroit falling to the 7 spot after getting blown out by the Baltimore Ravens. Going to go ahead and pop Buffalo in at number 8. They do drop a few spots as well, losing to the Patriots on the road. We just talked about how horrible of a loss that was for them. Excuse me. We got Dallas at number 9 and Cincinnati at number 10 as they both respectively have bye weeks, so they will not move in my power rankings. The Seattle Seahawks will stay put as well as they win over the Cardinals at home. A shakeup in my bottom 4 now. I did recently have the Chargers, the Rams, the Bucks, and the Colts respectively from the from the 12 to the 15. Now I'm gonna have Minnesota popping back in as the 12th best team in the NFL when you beat a big team like the San Francisco 49ers, despite what was happening to them in that game, despite the injuries. It's still a big win because we know that the Minnesota Vikings have not been a team that is winning one-score games. Literally their first win of the season in a one-score football game. And rightfully so. They're going to jump into my top. They're going to jump into my top teams here. I'm going to keep the Chargers at number 13 because I do realistically feel like they are a better team than the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons, rounding out my 14 and 15. The Chargers lose to the Chiefs on the road, so they're going to drop just one. Minnesota is going to jump up in that one since they did they play earlier this year? I feel like they did. Yeah, they did. Do I have the Chargers ahead of the Vikings? No, I don't. But the way that the Vikings just recently played, it's hard. Like I know some people would jump in and say, "Oh, you know, Chargers beat the Vikings. Why are they not ahead of them?" Well, I think Minnesota's a different team now than they were then, and I think the same with the Chargers because realistically that game was a month ago. Pittsburgh does win their football game. They beat the Rams, so I feel like they deserve to jump in. Tampa Bay losing to the Falcons at home, they're going to fall out. The Rams losing to the Steelers at home, they're going to fall out. The Colts losing in a shootout to the Browns at home, I have them falling out as well. So from the 15 to the 1, I've got Atlanta 15, Pittsburgh 14, the Chargers 13, Minnesota 12, Seattle at 11, the Bengals at 10, the Cowboys at 9, the Bills at 8, the Lions at 7, the Jaguars at 6, the Ravens at 5, Dolphins at 4, Niners at 3, Chiefs at 2, and the Philadelphia Eagles, the best team in the NFL, walking into week 8 as the number 1 team